Good evening and welcome to the October 16, 2025 meeting of the Community Preservation Committee. It is 6:30 p.m. and we are meeting this evening at the Lakeville Police Station at 323 Bedford Street. We do have a quorum this evening as well as LakeCAM recording. Is anyone else recording? Hearing none, let's go around the room and introduce ourselves.
Noelle Rillo, I represent Parks.
Nancy Yates, representing Conservation.
Susan Spieler, member at large.
Michelle McEachern, Planning Board.
Nancy Lefebvre, Lakeville Historical Commission.
Lynn Morley, Open Space.
Kathleen Barrick, member at large.
Mike Ellis, Finance Director.
All right, so let's jump into agenda item number 1, meet with Town Accountant Mike Ellis. We have A, review yearly CPA totals. So thank you, Mike, for helping us with this.
Sure.
It's always tricky to understand the budget reports. So you've updated the spreadsheet
That's correct.
to include all the totals.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to go over with us? Anything specific?
Well, we can kind of start with recapping fiscal 25 since it's closed, and then I can talk about the estimated receipts for FY 26 if you'd like.
Perfect.
So during FY 25, we collected $244,230.18 from the surcharge on the real estate bills. We also received $42,342 of state match, and then as our $573,000 or so sits in the bank, we collected $13,361 in interest,
Nice.
using an average of about 2.25 to 3%, which is pretty standard with our banking. As you all know, 5% of annual revenues can be designated for administrative expenses. So there's the $8,250, but of that, only $1,079 was expended during the fiscal year, which means that we would turn back the difference to fund balance. So pretty straightforward. We did have a few projects ongoing during fiscal 25. However, we did turn back the entire $30,000 for the town hall roof, which was made up of $17,893.38 from undesignated fund balance and $12,106.62 back to historic reserves. We also had a small balance that the CPC committee approved to close out of the town hall door of $1,141.66. So those all went back to their respective funding sources. For FY26, at the June 9th annual town meeting, we estimated that we would take in $277,500 in total receipts. So that's including a $20,000 estimate for state match, $247,140 for the surcharge, and $10,360 for other miscellaneous interests, things like that. So using the 10, 10, 10, and 70% CPC plan, we put $27,750 in each historic, open space, and housing. And then $194,250 went into undesignated fund balance. However, we use $8,325 of the administrative cost. So the true number sitting available in undesignated fund balance for fiscal 26 is $185,925. And that's pretty much where we stand today. We've only had about $917 of expenditures so far this fiscal year for the administrative costs. I have not seen anything come through for any projects. It's kind of where we're at. It's not a whole lot of activity. We still have the John Pond engineering, $25,000 that was voted 2 years ago. It's still sitting on the books, unspent as of 9:30.
Yep, so we do have an invoice.
We do have an invoice tonight.
Yeah,
Yep.
we have an invoice.
Yep. But other than that, it's, business as usual with the Community Preservation Fund. Still obviously in its early stages, but everything looks pretty clean and building up our fund balance, which at the June 30th, 2025 close had $573,000. So it's growing.
Anyone have any questions, Catherine?
So I do the CP3
Yep.
report, so I may need a more detail from you, but we can get that at another time.
Sure.
But I was questioning under the historic town door, the 5808.34. This is on the 2025 report, page 2. Was that paid from the conservation money or was that from the mass preservation grant? So I know that there was grant money left from the roof.
So that was charged, to CPA,
Okay.
and the difference would have been charged to the grant. But I will say, if you, under the transfers and adjustments column, you see the negative 114166, that was the amount that probably around the time I first started here, maybe over the winter, was approved to be closed. Cause the project was deemed to be complete, so.
Okay.
So we didn't expend the entire $6,950.
Yep.
But to answer your question, yes, that was charged to CPC, and that's how we
Okay.
closed fiscal '25.
And just one other question.
Yes.
On this page here, the summary report,
Mm-hmm.
under open space recreation appropriated,
Yep.
the 22,000, what
Yep.
was that for?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that question, actually. So this kind of sent me down a little bit of a rabbit hole, because if you look just to the left of that, you'll see that historic appropriated and open space both have the exact same amount, which is just sheer coincidence. Like, you probably couldn't do that again if you tried, but it's the 22,106.62 was the amount used from open space for John Pond, and then the difference to get us to the 25,000 was from undesignated fund balance. It was 2,893.38, which totals your 25. And then you asked about the 22,106.62. That's 12,106.62 from historic reserves to satisfy the 30,000 that was needed for the roof, plus the 10,000 gravestone repairs. So it's just coincidence that those two numbers are to the penny the same, but it's 3 different articles and 4 different funding sources.
Strange.
But you,
Strange those
probably
numbers came
couldn't-
up. Should have played them.
yeah, yeah. So it kind of took me a little bit. I thought there was a typo on the sheet at first, but yeah. And then of course the other amount for the roof was 17,893 from fund balance. So
Maybe Nancy and I can meet with you
Yeah.
sometime individually, so you can help me apply that to the CP3
yeah.
website.
So prior to my arrival, and I understand why, because CPA was in its early phases, but we, looking at the articles from town meeting, we cobbled together a lot of funding sources. So typically, if you had enough in reserve, you'd say, we need 30,000 for the roof, we're just gonna appropriate out of historic reserves. But we didn't have that luxury. We had to kind of tap into undesignated fund balance as well as historic reserves. So all these articles were kind of cobbled together a little bit. So it kind of took me a little bit of digging and tying to.
And then we had the preservation grant that paid money too.
That as well,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was a
Okay.
little bit of a puzzle to
Yeah.
try to put these together, but I understand why it's only been around since 2023, so, yeah, but absolutely, we can meet. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Anyone else have any questions on this? All right, so, the second part of our meeting with Mike is review and possible vote on updates to the community preservation plan appendix. So we do have these pages in our packet. I think a lot of these numbers are easy to take from the spreadsheet and put right into the appendices. I don't know if you wanna just kind of go over it with us so we get them right, or,
Yeah, we can actually basically pull, for the CPA fund balances, we can essentially pull these right off of the sheet with all the highlight on it.
right,
And really all that does is just kind of break down your current year, 10% for each category, and then your 70% of your fund balance. But, so for 24, it would read 24,550 under all 3 categories, community housing, historic, and open space. And then in the undesignated column, it would be 339, 511, 15.
okay.
And as you can see, everything at the end, the undesignated should tie back to the highlighted column in pink on the on the breakdown. And then 25 is again the 10% to each category, 27.5 for each, and then that at fiscal 25 close would bring undesignated to 573,758.88. So as I mentioned before, the CPA fund is growing. Fund balance is climbing, so.
All right, so we have, under the undesignated for 2024, it's the 339,511.
Yep.
Okay. Mm, 26, now that's projected though, correct? For
26 is projected. As you can see, if you look under the state match column, it's too early to even have received that yet, so that's an unknown.
Okay.
Same with interest, so.
So I wonder if we want to fill it in or leave it blank until we confirm it next year?
For 26,
Yeah,
I would say leave it, yeah.
Leave it blank,
I think
yeah.
we could fill in 24 and 25, but absolutely leave 26 blank. Yep.
alright. And so we have a column for undesignated and then also the reserve. So,
Yeah, so
is it necessary to have that column?
So I didn't do it this way in my previous town. I would have taken what's in the green off to the right, and I would have just plugged it in already to the total undesignated fund balance. But as I see it, you're just kind of segregating that for this fiscal year. So if you look, you'll see that we started with 113,750. We closed out the full amount. We then went to 159. That's just your 70%. That's after you satisfy your 10% for each category. That's just your 70%. And unless you spend it, it just closes out fully, which is what has happened in the 3 years for CPA. So we could plug that number in there, but we're kind of duplicating it because it is part of like the 573 already.
So is it,
Yeah,
think
it's just the way the sheet was drawn up.
so like referring to our appendix,
Mhm.
like we already have a column that says NA. Should we just get rid of that column? Is there any reason that we should leave it? Because obviously if we're doing this once a year,
Yeah.
and it's at the end of the fiscal close, it should always be NA or 0 or,
Unless, yeah, I don't see any reason why you can keep that column there. As I said, I kept all my undesignated fund balance, whether it was current year or the cumulative prior year, in one bucket. It's broken out here for the current fiscal year versus the cumulative amount. It's not wrong, there's no wrong way, but yeah, you don't really need that column
don't need
because
it.
all you'd be doing is listing like the 113, but it closes out, so.
and really that time frame only applies from when town meeting happens and a vote until the next fiscal starts.
You got it. Yep.
So,
Yep.
does everyone understand that we really don't need that column and we could probably
Mhm.
get rid of it in the appendix? Okay. What else? So the only other thing that we don't have, is gonna be the,
Abatements and exemptions, I think.
oh, the exemptions, yep.
Yeah, which I can
So-
absolutely get that to you guys.
We'll wait on that, we'll continue it to a next,
Yeah.
another meeting.
Yep. In
Um,
the meantime, when I get it, I'll email it to you and you can distribute it if you want, but
awesome.
yeah, we can fill that in for sure.
That'd be great.
Yep.
And then I guess the surcharge piece, so that, we also have, the spreadsheet, we can add those right in to this appendix, page 34.
I'm just curious, tax liens redeemed. Do redeemed tax liens go into this fund? I've never seen that.
Are
I'm
you looking
just
at
curious.
25?
So
Yeah,
this-
Okay, that's from the revenues. Okay, that
So-
mean,
it does actually. The tax liens stay segregated. They stay with CPA. They would
Mhm.
not close to the general fund if there was a lien on a property. They would have to go to their respective funds. So the real estate portion would go to the general fund and the tax lien percentage that pertains to CPA
Would go into
come to us.
CPA?
That's correct. Yep.
hmm,
I don't think it's usually much, right?
Yeah.
$31,
yeah,
but
so
yeah,
for-
it would stay with the fund. Yeah.
Oh, do we have any?
In 25, it looks like there was $31.22. Yeah.
hey, $31 is $31.
That's right.
$31 and how many cents?
22.
22, and that was for 25?
That's correct. Yeah.
And was there
This is a
anything
new
for
thing.
24?
This is a new thing for the town, so we're gonna have to get used to doing that.
Mhm. Yep, it would be leaned over and you would collect respectively general fund and
Thank
community
you.
preservation. Yep.
Was there an amount for 2024 for that?
if there was, I don't have that with me
Okay.
tonight, but I will get that to you. I just did 25 and 26.
Gotcha, okay.
Nothing so far in 26.
Does, I'm sorry to.
Nope.
Drag it on, but, foreclosed properties that the town is selling, does that figure into this at all, or?
Yeah, I think you would
Just-
probably recoup a small percentage of penalties and interest, but
Because I know that there are a few properties that have been recently sold. I'm
Yeah.
just curious about that.
I'd have to look.
Yeah, maybe you
but
can
it-
find out.
Yeah, it would stay with the fund. Those actually haven't
Yeah.
hit the ledger until mid-September.
I
so,
see.
Yeah, it wouldn't even.
Okay. Okay, I
yeah.
didn't realize that those things figured in at all.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, absolutely the liens, because you're leaning them on the tax bill, but as far as
Okay,
the property takings,
I see.
I'll look into that, yeah.
Great, thank
Yeah,
you.
Absolutely.
Match as a percentage of surcharge. So for, do we have that on these? Cause it looks like it's,
Which one are you looking at?
so I'm looking at the 26. Oh, maybe I should be looking at 25. So CPA state match, we got the 20,000. And so is that the 211%? On page 1 of the 2025 budget? Oh, no, it says percent used. I was thinking.
Yeah, that's not gonna be it. So we estimate $20,000, you know, and this is what I would do in my previous town. You keep it very low. You don't wanna overestimate that number.
Mm.
So that's what that's showing, is that we collected 211% of what we estimated.
Okay.
Is this, I think this is probably just looking for the 42 over the total that we collected for the fiscal year, which,
Okay, so the percent that the surcharge is of the total.
yeah, which I can put that in writing too. You know.
All right. So that, so I just have questions for the 24, 25 percentage. The abatements and exemptions.
Mhm.
And other than that, I just need to know what the article number was for John Pond Park Engineering. So I'll just have to look back for that, but I think I have everything that, except for the amount expended on the, appendix page 35.
Mhm.
So, for the gravestone repairs, oh, cause these are built in, so I won't be able to see the breakdown unless I look at the sheet, right?
Yeah, they're all built in. That's what I was saying. It's like a lot of these are cobbled together with different funding sources. But I did this afternoon kind of make a breakdown of it, which
Oh.
I can share.
Oh,
It's in
perfect.
Excel, yeah, because I needed to kind of break it out on a sheet as well, so,
Okay.
yeah.
So those on 35 I need, all roof, that was 0. The door replacement, the difference between that 1,000 and 6,000 or so. And then the cupola repairs, okay, so would anyone approve of me working with Mike to get these completed? And then we can get a vote and I can update them and put them on the website, or do you all wanna get a look at it before it's posted?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
so we
fine
can
with it.
update
Yeah.
it and,
Yeah, go
okay,
ahead.
so, can you make that motion?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, the next item, if you don't mind sticking around for this one too, Mike. Kathleen, had some notes. She wasn't at the last meeting. I wasn't either, so I printed out her notes and, Kathleen, if you wanna just kinda go over what you ran into.
Sure. Mike and Nancy and I will meet to better understand the detail of the numbers to complete the CP3 sheet when we close a project or when we finish all payments. because if something comes from a grant, I think I need to add that on there, and, what we paid. So we
Mhm.
can talk about that detail at a meeting separately.
Sure.
When we met with you, you had mentioned that not that you don't close projects if we haven't spent all the money, but you have a different time frame on projects?
Yeah, so previously to Lakeville, we did not have a time frame on projects. We had projects on the books for several years. Depending on kind of who sponsored and was overseeing the project, if it was a department head, you kind of had that person in charge of the project, but we had other ones that were, you know, more based around like citizens coming to the CPC committee, and you kind of didn't have that department head or project manager to oversee them. So we had projects stay on the books for several years. I understand that in the plan, you guys wrote in a 2-year from the date of approval, from the date of town meeting vote. I mean, it's not a bad thing to have, but if you keep the project on the books longer than 2 years, I mean, nothing's gonna happen when the project finally gets complete, or if there's a decision to close it out, it just closes back out to its respective funding source. The money's not gonna go away. It's just not gonna be part of the fund balance on that year's approval.
So it surfaced with the gravestone projects.
Yeah,
Because we have two, and
Yep.
the first one had about $450 left in it.
so I actually spoke with Michelle about that prior to the meeting, so if we had any type of repeater or similar like project article, so using the gravestone, we had 10,000, we had 450 remaining, we did another 10,000. We never closed out that 450. We would kind of take that new invoice, plug the 450, charge the remainder, and kind of so on we go. Because it's just a lot of, it requires a vote. You guys have to vote, we have to close it, and we have to do a series of journal entries. And you're really just kind of repeating the same project.
Right.
So it's still coming from the same funding source, it's historic reserves. So that's kind of how we operate, it was a little more seamless that way. But there's nothing wrong with closing them out and revoting them, if that's what you choose to do. But we had a lot of reoccurring articles year after year, so it just made sense for us to do that, so.
So that could be something for the committee to consider, because we do have, several projects on the gravestone repairs. And not that we have large dollars remaining,
Mhm.
but we could use up the balance before we go to the new project.
So it doesn't change the amount that's approved for the project specifically.
No.
It's just saying that if there's a remaining balance, instead of going in and out and then
Right.
back in and out, it makes sense as long as there's a way of keeping track of what those amounts are and not getting confused by
Right, right,
the-
and as long as it's the same type of work.
right.
Yeah, it has to be a like project.
Right.
Yeah, and of course, under that respective category,
Right.
historic, community housing, yeah, so.
So for,
It's a
I
little
don't know
more
if you-
streamlined that way, I mean, it's, yeah,
On
so.
On particularly the gravestones, situation, when the company comes in and they do the process, they do up to what can be covered with the 10,000, but sometimes it's short because they need more money to do
Right.
another set of stones or stones. So that's why there's a balance. So if we know that balance was there,
Mhm.
and if they applied like they did last year for another 10,000, we would have 4,000 $400 and something that we would have used before we went for more of the 10,000 into the 2025 money, 24 money. So would we use that money that's left over to cover that 10?
Yeah, you're exactly right, so
So that's what you're saying, right?
since I've been here, we've, at least communicating with Michelle, we've closed out 2 projects. We closed out the 30,000 for the
roof.
and the 1,141 in the doors. So I made a journal entry, closed those back to their respective funding sources. I never got any vote or notification to close out the
Right,
$450.
that's true. Yeah,
So we carried that forward from June 30th to 7/1,
right.
because I'm not gonna close that without CPC vote. And then we subsequently have the new 10,000, so you're correct, we had 10,450, and then the most recent invoice, 9,800 comes along. So it was my practice to kind of take that new invoice, plug the 450, fulfill the old article, and then start drawing down on the most recent article.
Because what ends up happening is if they're not aware of that, then the company, that means that we didn't spend $450 or whatever it was on the first one, and now the second billing is coming in for payment, and that is short from the 10,000. They didn't spend up to the 10,000, so we have maybe as much as 700 total between the 2 projects that was not spent, was not.
Yep.
it was allocated but not spent because
Mhm.
we couldn't spend more than 10,000. So I think that's something we need to understand. This may just be unique to the cemeteries
Right.
because
Mhm.
most other projects are gonna be one project and
And then we'll
whatever they
close
don't
it out,
spend would
yeah.
go back into
Mm.
the
Right.
kitty.
So the other
Okay.
option too, instead of like kind of fulfilling the older articles that had the balance, like the 450,
Cause
when
then
we
we
go to
could
town
find
meeting,
out what it would cost to do 2 more stones or something like that.
You
or
could
wh-
do that, yeah.
Whether it's a repair or
Mhm.
if it's just a cleaning and resetting the stone and stuff like that. So if we knew what that would be. So I
So
think this is a
maybe-
very unique, it's uniquer than most of the projects. Because
Right.
it's, the other thing that Joan mentioned today, and I just wanna say it, is that sometimes the initial stones that he thinks he's going to repair when he comes in after the winter and sees what the conditions are, then he goes for the more fragile stones, the ones that have more risk, especially in the slate, which look like they're gonna start to split.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So it may change and it won't be exactly what he said he was gonna do, but
It's still within the scope.
it's in the
Of
area,
what,
yeah,
yeah.
and within the time period too.
Mhm.
So I think it sounds like maybe just a communication when they know
Like,
that
no.
they're beginning to tie up the project. If cemetery commission wants to reach out, you know, through you to Mike
Mhm.
and say, how much do we have left? I think that could maybe work,
Absolutely, yeah.
unless this committee wants it to go formally through us in a certain way, or what do you think?
I think what you just suggested about her reaching out to Mike and asking how much do we have left
Mhm.
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we need to change the 2-year wording in the plan document?
I don't think so, because it's not even going that far, you know, cause so it's been
It's every year,
Yeah, every year so
they've done
far.
the work within the time period because of the weather too, and being not able to work.
But you can do
in
it
the
on a
cold
case
weather.
by case basis through you, because we're gonna do that tonight, I believe, is that if something
Right.
is if a project comes along, it's not done within 2 years, we can vote to do an extension.
right, so that
Right, so-
option is always there.
It'd be case by case, you know, I
Sounds
think the
good.
2-year kinda says, you know, we don't wanna wait forever to see a project done, but if you
Right.
need a little more time, we could accommodate that.
Especially if we're seeing, look at the amount of interest that, you know, 7,000 and 13,000, like, so,
Mhm.
so having that extra money, like,
There
not
is a-
in the general fund, or not general fund, the
That's-
unappropriated,
Yeah.
then, that could actually increase the amount of revenue from interest as well. So we don't really want it sitting out
Mhm.
there in limbo for a long period of time either, for that
Well,
reason.
just because it's appropriated doesn't mean it's not still sitting in the bank earning money. It's
So it
not till it's
is?
expended, yeah. So if you appropriate
Ah.
$100,000 for a project, so say you have 500,000 sitting in the bank and you appropriate 100,000, the 500 stays there. It's not till the expenditures roll in that you start drawing down on your bank amount.
So it is still being in.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah. The
okay,
appropriation's
so-
really just in the report. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like if we were to pay like a significant sized bill in the general fund, yes, we would like wait until close to the due date because we're earning interest on that, but the money stays intact until it's expended.
Okay.
Yep.
So
That's
we
good to
have
know.
the first gravestone project submitted, November 13th, 2023, approved.
Mhm.
And it has about $450 balance. Do we want to approve that money remains there and doesn't close out this November?
So
Well,
he's
I actually
already
yeah, I
taken
already
it.
did that.
You have closed it.
I did, but I brought it up to Michelle earlier just to make sure that you guys were
Okay.
okay with that. But
Okay.
we can absolutely move that money back, but then you would have the 450 surplus balance hanging out. So it's kind of what the committee prefers to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what he's saying. He used that first before expending the next round of 10,000
Mhm.
spending.
Okay.
But so as long as you and him are on the same page with those totals at the end
Yeah.
of the year, when you have to
Okay.
do the plan,
Okay.
the CP3,
Mhm.
so
Great,
that should,
perfect.
This kind of like keeps things more efficient too. You're not rolling forward some of these small $300-400
Yeah.
balances. You're closing them out, you're getting them done, and then you have your most recent articles
That makes
that you're
sense.
drawing down from too. So makes it a little cleaner.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the first item.
Mhm.
The second item that okay. But as you move forward, I recommend number 1, when payments are made on a project, the committee should be informed of the specific payment amount and made from which funding source. like a grant or our funds.
Mhm.
Because I think I need that for the CP3 detail.
Yeah,
But now, are
And-
you talking about grants? Because like, obviously, it's not coming out of CP.
Right,
a
well, we
balance.
had the grant for the roof, and when I close out the fund on the CP3 website, I need to say that it was, some certain amount was paid from
Mhm.
another funding source.
So you do need it.
I do need that,
Okay.
yeah.
Huh.
So I would need the detail of what was paid from what funding source. And that we vote on closing it out. So that's number one. And the second item is, when I enter a new project, this question is asked: has a permanent restriction been recorded on this property, yes or no?
Mhm.
And it would be good to have that on the application, to have the person complete that, so I'd have the answer.
Right.
Okay.
So that way you're not chasing it down, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did include it on a draft of the step one in our packet on page 3. I just added, has a permanent restriction been recorded on this property, circle yes or no. And then if yes, I added, circle the type of restriction. So,
Thank you.
just like you had, and then if no, explain.
Great.
Because they all really need to have a certain type of restriction, whether it's historic or recreation or open space or,
We don't have any restrictions so far on any of the projects.
well, there's for the
Townhouse. is
townhouse,
historic.
the doors, they did.
The Mass Historical Commission, in order to give us the grant, asked us to put a historic preservation restriction on the building.
Yeah, I do
That was
have
part of their
Okay.
agreement
Yeah. On the roof and the doors.
for the building
Yes,
in
yeah.
total.
And instead of the restriction, you had to have, for the cupola, you had to have the commission's dubbing it,
It's historically sensitive.
exactly.
Yeah, I think that was what we did.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's also easier to do things that the town owns than people that have private ownership.
And
Sounds
there's a CR on John Pond Park too, right? Or
Yeah,
not?
it should be, there's no building.
Or under Article 97,
That's what it
okay,
probably looks for.
for John Pond Park, okay.
We had said originally that the engineering planning project that we paid for
Mhm.
wouldn't have a restriction on that, but any work done on the park would.
Mhm.
Right,
Right,
Okay,
okay,
right.
yeah.
All right, so does that address everything that you
Yes.
ran into?
Yes,
Okay,
thank
so
you.
would we like to make a vote on the step one to update it?
so moved.
Second?
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Are we all set with Mike?
so,
I
Thank
think.
you.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Very much.
Appreciate it, and I'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
All right, agenda item number 3, review and possible vote on the following step 1 applications. A, Aponequid High School Courtyard Memorial Renovation. You're welcome to come up.
Great.
Now, in our packets, we have the application. So it looks like you are looking for, help to restore the courtyard and improve the, historical memorials dedicated to teachers that have passed away. If you'd like to just state your name for the record and give us a little, summary of what you're looking for.
Sure. My name is Joe Solomon. I'm the history teacher at Aponequid Regional High School. I'm also the student council advisor where this is coming from. Last year, to give you a little bit of context, we voted as a council to take care of the school and to pick a project to help improve it. And we agreed that the courtyard is something people see there every day. And it's really an unused space. So we wanted to dedicate some of our time and money to help repair it. So last year we spent money, $1,500, on having a local student who just graduated, Charles Burry. He helped us landscape the entire thing at a cost. It was he did it for cheaper than he would have, and he came for 2 days and he really cleaned the entire place up to make it look better. And while we were doing that, we discovered memorials that people had forgotten about because they were in the corners, like covered by overgrowth, bushes, trees. We were surprised. So we asked some of the teachers who have been around for a while who those people were, and they gave us a list, and we realized they're memorials for teachers who had passed away, and they planted trees for those people too. So Charles, and I sent that, the photos in the Google slide that I gave you guys, the before and after, because there was a lot of overgrowth. And then Charles cleaned that area out for us and kind of made it look nice. So he got mulch, he made the trees stand out, and kind of, you can actually see them now. So what we were hoping to do is create a space for recreational use and educational use as a memorial, to like make the memorial a little more than just a tree, something where students can go learn outside and have a good educational experience. We talked to the superintendent last year about it, went to the school committee about it. Steve Sylvia is the one who pointed us in this direction to come talk to you guys about it. We've talked to Jack Higgins, the financial director of the school. So we really tried to get as many hands in the pot as possible to help us with this. And the students have had a big role in that. Ryan O'Connor can't be here tonight, but he has had a huge part in this. Cam Poirier's had a huge part in this. They're both members of the student council, so I can give it off to Cam to talk for a little bit, but go ahead.
So hi, my name is Cameron Poirier. I'm the community ambassador for Aponequid Regional High School's student council. Ryan, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, met, it was a little over a year ago now. I think it was the first in-government meeting. We sat down and we kind of began to tackle this issue of the courtyard being underutilized. And as Mr. Solomon said, there were a lot of memorials that were kind of like overgrown and weren't really represented the way we believed those teachers deserved. So with this project, we hope to shine more light on those teachers that had passed away and make it a more collaborative space for students, because students are able to walk through the courtyard throughout the day during passing periods, and that's about all it's used for. So we'd like to revamp it and make it better than it is now.
So in that light, we tried doing events last year to utilize it more. We had a holiday bonanza where we actually invited, for the first time we've done it, we invited the community to come to it. So we had like elementary families come, middle school, and it was well attended. I think 60, 70 people went, and we had them come and check out the space, and we like put decorations in the courtyard, but it's still not a very usable space. So what we're asking for help with, and this is after we talked to Mr. Higgins and he tried to point us in a direction that made sense, asking for stone picnic tables that we can have help with financially, so we can put them in the courtyard as kind of a permanent addition to make it usable, not walkable. That's the kind of direction we were going in.
Definitely.
And then making them dedicated to the teachers who have passed away, so that way it's an active space to remember them, not just a memorial that gets overgrown in another 5 years. Something that is used consistently for education every day is what we were hoping for.
Well, it sounds like a very commendable, project that you guys are looking to undertake. And, unfortunately, CPA funds have to be used for certain specific purposes.
Right.
So what we do with, every step one application that we get, we send it off to the coalition for advice on how to handle the project. So unfortunately, the coalition is saying that there's no CPA category that would allow for expenditures on school courtyard, as it does not meet the definition of land for recreational use. Recreational use, active or passive recreational use, including but not limited to the use of land for community gardens, trails, and non-commercial youth and adult sports, and the use of land as a park, playground, or athletic field. Recreational use shall not include horse or dog racing or use of land for a stadium, gymnasium, or similar structure. CPA was not designed to enhance general school property, and the courtyard is most definitely a school asset used primarily by the school for school activities and purposes such as honoring past teachers. CPA recreation projects take place on dedicated recreational land such as parks under control of the Parks Commission Board, not the school committee. Ball fields, playgrounds, trails, community gardens, and similar dedicated recreational areas. CPA recreational land does not have buildings or other large structures. So there's certain caveats, and that's why, so the step one application that you filled out, and I know you said that you couldn't circle the category, but the reason that we included the definitions is because it's very specific. And
Right.
as to where it can be used.
And we figured that too. We looked at it, and that's why we really settled on recreation and historical as being the only two kind of close to what we were talking about. Because that's what we were trying to focus on the memorial as like the historical aspect. We're trying to preserve the memory of memorials that were made in 2001, trying to keep that. And we went with that. And then we also read recreational space as like a space that's, we didn't know if recreational meant open to the public or if it was just for the school. We assumed it was, but we figured it wouldn't hurt to ask.
Right.
So,
It's possible that there might be some state educational / teacher association funds, grants out there. Doing a good AI Google search, you might be able to procure some funding that way.
Or even if, you know, people are watching this and want to get involved or have another option for funding or something, that hopefully they can reach out to you and, you know.
yeah,
see
we'll
what they can
take any
do.
help we can get.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, because unfortunately, so for historic, it has to be historically significant and deemed by the commission if it's not on the register.
Right.
For recreation, it has to have a conservation restriction. So there's certain caveats that it has to have apply. Unfortunately, you know, whether it being in the school, it's not public use, it's not, you can't put a conservation restriction on it, so.
Right.
Unfortunately.
No, it's too bad.
That's okay. Like I said, we figured that. We had talks about this. We just figured we were so far along in the process, it would be good to come try anyway.
Right.
And it's also a good experience for them to come see how the town works.
And
So,
if you wanna, you know, state your name again, if anybody's watching and they wanna.
Joe Solomon. I don't know where to look. Matt, where do I look? Tell me like, I nailed it? All right. Joe Solomon, Student Council, Pontic Regional High School. We need money. Thank you. No, if anyone, but seriously, like we don't really have a good, well, part of what his job is as community ambassador is we're trying to make those connections so that if there is someone watching that owns a business, does something like that, we can have help with that because we're a school and even our student council, we're limited on funds. So trying to get help where we can is important.
And it's
So,
great to see the young people getting involved,
That's
caring
you.
about the
Absolutely.
schools, so,
Right.
good job.
So if
Thank
somebody
you.
wanted to send a check to Aponequid on the line, what would they put on the notation line? Student council project?
Yes.
Or,
So if you put,
courtyard project?
yeah, if you
or
put
something
student
like that?
council courtyard project and then the main office would know that's me. I complain about it all the time, so they would know exactly who that is. So that'd be helpful.
Well,
Okay.
thank you for coming this evening.
No,
and
thank you guys. We
wish you
appreciate it.
luck.
It's
Best
nice
of
to
luck.
meet you.
All right, the next project is the National Fitness Campaign. I don't think I dressed for this weather. It's cold in here.
I already turned it up, but it's not working.
Welcome. Would you like to state your names for the record?
Yes, Andrew Sukeforth, Town Administrator.
Lacey Marshall, HR Director.
Hi.
Hi.
So you have a application for a fitness pad this evening, if you wanna go into an explanation as to what this entails.
I can go into some of the genesis, then I'll turn it over to Lacey. Select Board, tasked us to look into this, a number of months ago. I know of it, it's in my hometown, I've seen it at my alma mater, Bridgewater State, a few other towns around here are looking into doing it. I think someone on the select board had seen it somewhere and was curious, and they asked us to look into it, see what the process was like. So we talked about, I think it maybe at 2 select board meetings. And then their task of us is to look into funding, but don't use free cash. Don't put it on the capital plan. So it leaves us scrambling to find a hodgepodge of funds, which includes CPA as one. We've applied for, I think, 2 other grants.
We have already gotten $40,000 for one grant. T-Mobile, I put in a grant for $50,000 from them. I think we hear back in December on that. And then when it circles back around to, I believe, April or May, I'll also be putting in for a parks grant.
So is that 50, that's the hometown grant?
It is, yes.
Okay.
Now, is the 40 the Blue Cross Blue Shield one, or?
It is, yes. It's the NFC Blue Cross Blue Shield. That one we've already been awarded.
Oh, that's interesting, cause I've checked other towns and they get 50,000, why do we only get 40?
We only got 40 because we did not add on the shade. So the shade was like another $100,000, and I couldn't see us only getting another 10,000 to pay
Okay.
90,000.
Okay, that
So
makes sense.
essentially, yeah, so you'd get 30 if you just did like the studio
Mhm.
without having the other side. You get 40 if you have both, and then the 50 is if you do it with the shade.
Got it, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So we did send this off to the coalition as well, and their response is the second application for the outdoor fitness facility seems to qualify as long as the land is dedicated to recreation. See this article on our website for more information. And so we do also have the information about the recreational restrictions that they're looking for. So I know for Ted Williams Camp, contested over whether it's got a conservation restriction over the whole thing, not the whole thing. I think you guys are the right people to ask. Is there a conservation restriction? Is it over the whole park? How does that stand?
So I didn't see it I do have the deed, I ended up getting it. I don't see a conservation restriction, that I could find, and I could just be reading it wrong. The space that we're putting it in is currently a gravel parking lot. So we're not touching anything that would be like a wetland, or it's already like a cleared space, so we would just be essentially paving over that gravel.
So it's it's the gravel parking lot that's additional
So if
parking.
yeah.
So we haven't finally
We haven't finalized
identified
it.
the spot, but one of the spot we were thinking of is the gravel spot next to the tennis courts.
Right, cause it's already leveled off, it's already, kind of a space that's close to, so it's close to the tennis court, it's close to the COA. The COA, if they're doing like a Zumba or a yoga, instead of having to be inside when it's like the warmer weather, they could actually go out and use that studio. It's right behind the police station and the fire station, so if they wanted to do training, they could also be able to use that studio. If you're parking, it's ADA accessible for people to just to go up. So if you look at, I had given you guys the kind of the NFC layout, and in it, it says potential fitness courts marked, and it has the red square on it. The slide looks like this one.
Oh, yeah.
I had actually added in a square and put in sight just because I couldn't match their rectangle, which is
Oh,
right
okay.
near the tennis court, so that's, one of the potential locations. And I can send you all the deed information that I have, as well, if you guys wanna take a look at it to see if I missed something on it.
Well, so I guess part of my question is this the, sort of push to get a conservation restriction on Ted Williams Camp for a certain area? Right now, I know the road isn't named, it's never been subdivided. So the new fire station, the police station, there's no associated lot coverage. So when we looked at the fire station, it was the whole Ted Williams Camp as opposed to, being its own lot with, the applicable lot coverages for the buildings. And then, just knowing that people are very upset seeing more of the land being used for municipal, would it help maybe satiate some of those people who don't wanna see it continually pulled apart?
Do we know for sure that it's not Article 97 land? I've always thought that.
I thought it is
I think
myself,
it is, yeah.
but I know it's a little bit messy. Let's say.
I think,
Okay.
right, so that's, the point is, if it's messy, is this like a caveat to get it
To get it unmessy.
a little bit more clearer?
It's possible, yeah.
I think that should be like number one, is to make sure that is free and clear. I question doing a project of that scope, and it's $100,000, if I'm not mistaken, that would be requested from CPA funds.
Correct.
Yes.
Right. What I wonder about is, do we know that people are gonna use it? I really question that. The other thing for me is, I know in the pictures it looks all nice and clean, and all I can imagine is this is an uncovered structure, and I imagine pine cones, pine needles, duck poop, you know, I mean, so this is going to mean that someone's gonna have to clean that area. I just think those considerations have to be taken into account. Do we know people are gonna use this?
Can't guarantee anything in life.
No.
But I mean, from personal experience, when I go to the park all the time, people use it. It's gonna be obviously variable based on the season. Summertime, fall, yes. Spring, most likely. Winter, obviously,
Is it gonna be fenced in at all or
no,
not?
no fence.
I mean, my only concern is if it snows or there's black ice on it and someone uses it and they fall, who's liable for injury? I mean, is there, you know, is it use at your own risk or?
Yeah, generally, most parks that I've had experience with, they all use at your own risk.
Okay.
If there's injuries, it's on.
Cause the basketball court
Yeah.
isn't
Right.
fenced, is it? No. So I mean, you could slip and fall on the basketball court, the parking lot. I don't
Skate
find it
park,
to be,
yeah.
yeah, much
Skateboard.
different. And same thing, like the basketball court gets pine needles on it in Goose Boot.
It's one,
Tennis courts.
it's one level surface. This has blocks and all kinds of structures within it, so it's going to require going around the blocks, going around all of those structures and cleaning them.
No, do you have like a breakdown of exactly like how much the equipment is as opposed to the site prep, as opposed to the concrete installation, all of that?
We do. It's not in what your paperwork. I'm not sure.
Yes?
You can come up and state your name.
Melissa Turcott, Wednesday Markway. My question is just, isn't this step one just to see if it's viable and then produce all those documents and things that you're asking for?
Well, so we have tried to look to streamline the process. That's why we did include, the minimum criteria on the application here. And I think it's just a part of, you know, anybody that has questions here, you can ask
Oh,
questions.
absolutely.
and-
I remember last time it was step one, it was a whole debate, like step one, step two.
Mhm.
Step one is just to see if the project is allowed to proceed, like the last
Mhm.
project didn't fit your
Didn't qualify.
qualifications, so we
Right.
said, so sorry. But if this one fits, isn't that it for step one, and then you say, oh, when you come back, in step two, we need to see this, 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 and this?
Yes, we would. We would need to,
Right.
because we'd have to make sure that there's no
Okay.
costs that aren't able to be covered by
Right.
CPA for
So-
whatever reason.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we don't need to go through the list and they have to check their notes now for all those numbers.
No, but
Well,
it's-
no,
it's
but I mean, I
overall.
would just like a justification for $100,000, what exactly is the breakdown? Because I know like the site prep work, other towns have used their DPW to do it.
Right.
$20,000 comes off the cost, of course, they have to
Right.
pay DPW.
Can I?
Same thing with concrete and all that, they've had contractors donate their time and materials to do it, so I'm just
Right.
asking those questions, is
What
that
was the
something
total on the
possible?
project?
270,000.
So they're asking for a little more than half.
Correct,
Less.
yeah.
Thank you.
Less than that.
Yeah.
270.
Just a little less than
I
half.
think one of the other issues was we didn't want people to go through and do the whole thing and then us tell them that
Right,
we can't fund
exactly.
it because it's not acceptable underneath the requirements. So I think that's one of the things. Basically, we're looking at it now and saying, there's no reason why we couldn't fund it, whether we will fund it to that amount or
Right.
that you're asking
Or,
for is one of
well,
the
yeah,
things
and
that
you
would
can
happen
also
under
do a
step
lesser
two.
amount as well.
Right, and for due diligence, we should go over their answers to the question on the back, that's what that's a modified form on step one, instead of the 100,000
Right.
questions we used to ask.
Right.
Right, I mean, I
Yeah.
checked 14
Well, so they
towns.
are all filled in, and so they seem to have, you know, hit
But-
everything except for,
I mean, I did check 14 towns that have these fitness courts. And out of the 14 towns, 7 towns use CPA funds. But the 7 towns that use CPA funds have all had it in their program 10 years or plus. So they have a huge amount of money to pull out of, where we've only been in it for 2 years. Yes, we have $500,000, but again, do we want to deplete that kind of money, that much money out of the fund, and then some, you know, why aren't, I don't know, just growing the pot a little bit more? I
So
mean, I think it's a
mean,
great idea,
and that's something I've
but
always.
it's just a lot,
I've always
it's a lot
agreed
of
with
money.
that.
I would like to see some other more funding sources towards this.
But if we don't have anybody coming forward for a land purchase or something like that, then the money's just sitting there.
But it's accumulating
Right. it
year
is,
after year.
It is, and then eventually somebody will come. but
Right.
It hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Plus, we also have John Pond Park that has their engineering plan. They're gonna want money. You know, we should be funding
Right.
projects that we've already started. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's up to the town to decide, but I mean, it just
Question?
seems like an awful lot of money.
Question? What's the timeline on these other grants the grant that you have? Do you have a timeline when you have to spend it?
December 2026.
December 2026,
2026,
and you're
okay.
gonna find out in December of the second one that you did.
Yes.
And is there a third one? Did it say park grant on there?
So yeah, the park grant doesn't actually open until, I believe, either April or May. If we get that grant, we would be able to use it in,
Fall
FY,
26.
yeah,
Fall
FY
26.
26.
Yeah.
So that might take less money from CPA then, are you saying?
That's correct. The 100 would be the most. If,
Okay.
let's say we got a lot from the park grant,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
So
it would
then
make
maybe you'd
sense.
be only asking for 60.
Right.
Got it, okay.
Cause the park grant, I think it goes up to 450,000.
It does.
Okay.
So I mean, essentially, they could give you all of it,
Are
which
you-
would be nice.
Are you limiting it to a certain request, like, or you're going for, how much are you going for park?
So I gotta look at the park grant because I am not sure if there's a matching component to it. If there's a matching component to it, then I gotta
Mhm.
go back and look at what would be funded based off of that.
Like a lot of state grants, they're getting depleted. So I think
Right.
it was 800 maybe 2 years ago. Now it's 450, and then
Yeah, I think it was like 750, now it's
Yeah.
450, yeah.
Through the chair.
Sure.
It does say, does the project show support from abutters? And I haven't even spoken with that many people in town that are aware of this. I know a few, but I don't know if
Who's
they've
the
weighed in.
abutters?
Well, I think they did get approved from Park Commission, so they did get, right?
we haven't gone there yet. No.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay.
They've had a discussion about it. I think there was some interest,
Okay.
but our thought was to come here first.
Mhm.
If we pass step one, go to them, and then come back for step.
I interpreted abutters as meaning the people that live,
That's what I would think, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
just wondering.
Well, really, like, the abutters are what, the COA?
Yeah.
And the police department?
I would think if the park department didn't approve this, then we wouldn't approve funding.
Right.
Right.
So probably in your letter of your next application round would be a letter from the park department, just like the historical commission supports historic preservation
Right.
projects. You should have a letter from the park commissioners. If they support it, you would have a letter if they don't.
If they agree to
Right, cause
support.
that is one of the pieces of the
Right,
check,
the second part.
checklist of what we look for, the minimum criteria.
And so they would have to take a vote to do that too.
Melissa, you didn't vote for it. You
Yeah,
didn't.
they're scheduled to come to the next park meeting if they get approved to continue with you guys.
Anybody else have any questions?
So could we approve this pending park commission, approve step one,
We're just doing step one.
pending park commission?
I move that we accept the, proposal for the,
National Fitness.
I wanna use the right name. The fitness court and studio, which will be placed as an ADA compliant space at the Ted Williams camp to accept step one.
So are you, is
I-
this approval for the full amount?
I'm gonna
just
second
saying
with
the
discussion.
application.
Okay.
Second with discussion,
So we have
Sure.
a motion and a
Yeah.
second discussion.
discussion. When they come back with step two, we can decide whether we're gonna fully fund it or we're gonna give them some money, because she's gonna put in the park
Right.
one and saying, well, we got 40 from here and 50 from here, and then you could say, like, say we said 50, it's X amount from CPA. We don't have to decide right now
Right,
about
on the
the
amount, right,
full
exactly.
amount. We're just
Yep.
approving, yes,
Step one.
that you
Yep.
can go for step two.
Okay.
Cause that might help you to do your park grant, if, you know.
And we get a checklist for step 2 to let us know what is needed when we come back.
So I'll send out the step 2 application.
Okay.
And then it's due back the second Thursday in January. I didn't think of that for a second. I
I just
believe
had it
that's what
written
we-
down on the end over here, the last page.
Still under discussion, right? You, the other thing that you might wanna do is put out something to see if you can get a public response that says, yes, we have to go to another town to do this. We'd love to have it in Lakeville, that, or something like that, or people say, no, I have one exercise place in my house or something. So, I mean, but you could get a response from the public, and that would help support your application.
And I will say for myself, like, I like to see it, like, I don't mind, you know, the recreational use taking the full bucket as long as we're keeping the main bucket growing, in case of a land purchase that could potentially come up, because we know how costly that is. But that bucket is at $79,800. So I personally would like to see it stay, not more than that myself. But that's just my 2 cents on this.
But that's
They don't all,
discussion for
they
another
don't
meeting.
necessarily agree with me.
Yeah.
So,
It's a discussion for another meeting.
yeah, step 2 is December 1st through the second Thursday in January.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. We'll send you over a step 2 application.
Do you want me to send you the deed? You guys wanna look at the deed?
Yeah, I'll look at it.
Alright,
The whole deed and
Awesome.
nothing but the
thank
deed.
you.
And if there's
welcome.
any information about the conservation
And all the pages
restriction,
within.
because I think that's an important piece of it.
Yeah.
That even if we want,
Nobody else is cold. I mean.
if it gets to town meeting, then people are
it's
gonna
be
probably
coming out when
bring
we get
up
older.
things
Right.
along that line.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, and thank you.
Have a good night.
Right, Melissa, you're up.
All right. The next
I lost my
application is ADA walkway for Clear Pond Park.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi. So, as I'm sure you know, that we just completed a engineering plan for Clear Pond Park. $3.5 million was the estimate to complete everything on the list, so of course we're gonna have to break it down. But one of the most important things that we wanted to start with is the ADA mats, because right now Clear Pond is not ADA accessible. So with those mats, it'll go from the water to the bathroom to the parking area, so they'll be able to traverse the whole area.
The water, meaning the pond, sorry,
Yeah, Clear
Okay.
Pond itself.
okay, and that incline?
Not from,
Oh.
not from the parking area at the bottom, the parking area at the top, the
Okay.
handicap parking
Okay,
area.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
no, they,
So like just on the other side of the bathhouse?
yeah,
Okay,
across
gotcha.
the walkway.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, so if you guys do the mats, we'll take care of doing the parking area.
Okay, and I do apologize, these are dark because I just took pictures of the paper,
Yeah.
application that was submitted.
Accessible.
It was sent off to the coalition. It looks like they're looking to acquire portable mats to lay down over sand for handicap access to the beach. I believe these are called Moby mats, which are portable mats that roll up for storage, off hours or over the winter. Unfortunately, CPA funds cannot be spent on portable removable equipment like mats. When you rehabilitate land for recreational use, CPA must only be spent on capital improvements that meet this definition from section 2 of CPA. Capital improvement, reconstruction, or alteration of real property that 1, materially adds to the value of the real property or appreciably prolongs the useful life of the real property. 2, becomes part of the real property or is permanently affixed to the real property, so that removal would cause material damage to the property or article itself. And 3, is intended to become a permanent installation or is intended to remain there for an indefinite period of time. There are many portable supplies and equipment used at a beach such as chairs, lifeguard chairs, rescue equipment, umbrellas, and a myriad of other things. Moby mats are just one more piece of portable equipment at beaches, but none of these items are eligible for CPA funding. Equipment and supplies are not capital improvements to the land, so CPA funds cannot be used, unfortunately.
Really,
And
even
so
under the ADA, cause it said
So-
it was,
'Cause it's
Yeah, and
portable.
I thought that, cause you would put no, when you'd put, is it a project, is the project a capital expense? I thought you kind of had that inclination from the application.
yeah,
No?
so no,
So unfortunately,
okay.
Which is
So-
too bad, cause.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense that they don't want, cause that's the only way, otherwise I'd be asking you for $150,000 to do a permanent structure and like permanent walkway. That's
Right.
just gonna wash away when it rains, so that makes zero sense.
It's,
So-
it's kinda like, remember when Brittany put in for those, soccer nets? They were portable, anything if it's not
Oh.
Right.
permanent,
fixed.
which it's a shame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would think that with it being ADA improving it,
Right,
you would
Right.
think that they
I
would
mean,
fund
it's
it.
a shame,
That's
cause
a shame.
I
It's
would
too
have
bad.
definitely, I mean,
right,
it's needed,
yeah,
but,
and having them portable will make them last longer, right? Because
Right.
Taking
you
them
roll
out.
them up, put them away for the
Right.
winter. But
Right.
we do what we can, so we'll have to find
So
something else.
there's no
Thank you.
special
Thank you, guys.
requirements for ADA?
So I mean,
No.
that's one of the categories, like she circled it,
One of the categories.
because it does have
Right.
ADA, but it's not a capital fixture, so unfortunately it's not qualified.
I feel bad. I mean, it's
All right.
definitely worthwhile, but,
The next application in the packet is the gravestone repairs at Thompson Hill Cemetery. This one I didn't send off to the coalition since it is the third, application of its kind, and it is continuing the work. They're looking for $15,000 to, continue repairs. Colonial Stone has previously done repairs to a number of stones at Thompson Hill Cemetery. They have indicated that other stones in the vicinity of their previous work adjacent to the table stones should be repaired and uprated before they are completely,
Illegible.
illegible and lost to time through disintegration. So Nancy, did you wanna speak to this one?
Yes, this is I'm sure I think it's the commission as well as the, cemetery commission, both two commissions that are supporting this.
So historic and cemetery?
This is just a continuation as we try to work towards the Thompson Hill Cemetery having National Historic resignation. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. It's really important. I hadn't been in the cemetery for a while and I was there today because we are doing an event for 175th anniversary. On Sunday from 12:30 to 2 p.m. we're doing a non-Halloween event. It's just, we're gonna talk about some of the stones, we're gonna highlight the before and after of some of the stones that have been cleaned and uprighted, and just have people be able to wander around Thompson Hill and watch out for the footstones which will trip you up. But we really would like to see something else on Lakeville on the National Historic Register, and this is a prime place because of the age of the cemetery. 1717, I think, is the earliest stone. One of the earliest stones that's still readable is a story, just a stone about a child who passed away. So we're gonna be talking about some of the families, some of the interesting things about the cemetery, and hopes to bring this to people's attention, but also to be able for them to see what Thompson Hill has done with the money from CPC, which everybody appreciates. And it's just unbelievable the difference between what the stone looks like after it's been cleaned and repaired. And we have 3 very unique tabletop stones that are, and none of our other cemeteries, and not too many cemeteries have this style of stone. And so that was what in the two stones that were done with the first amount of money, it's just remarkable the difference, because the minister stone was cracked and broken and wasn't even at the site, it was at the back of the cemetery, and now it's been restored. And the artwork in terms of the great engraving on some of the stones is really very beautiful. I mean, sometimes it's very primitive, other times it's very sophisticated. So we're hoping that we're able to continue to do this preservation, because a lot of the stones are slate, and if you understand, slate is compressed soil that becomes rock and it's layered, and when it's stood on end as a tombstone or a gravestone, weather and water get between and they begin to erode and then they swell and they make the stones splinter. And so some of the stones have lost their faces because of that. So we're trying to preserve the ones that are preservable. There was one that I looked at today and there was a split between the main stone and the face of it of about an inch.
Wow.
So that is probably one of the ones they will do this coming year if they get the funding for the project. But, so they are critical. Some of them are in very critical condition. So the commission has supported the other two and they'll be sending a letter when they do the application, if we're allowed to go to the next level.
Okay. And actually, I apologize, Robert Stefanian had actually sent me his, input for the agenda items, and I just remembered. But he did, for the, projects, he said he defers to the coalition's guidance and accepts their recommendations. And he supports only the projects that meet the coalition's recommendation. So that was for this agenda item, for all 4 of them. Not a vote, but, does anyone have any questions? I think we're familiar with this project and what it's, doing. I know, Lynn, you're new.
Yeah.
Welcome. Do you have any questions about?
No,
this
we
project?
actually have 2 members from the Historical Society on open space, so they go over that quite a bit.
Okay.
Joan Martin
And
Brian
Brian Reynolds, yeah.
Yeah, I actually just drove by Joan yesterday out there in the cemetery, so she
She's
must
red
be,
flagging all the stones.
preparing for the event. What day and time? Sunday?
This Sunday, 12:30 to 2. And then you can turn around and go to trunk or treat.
That's
Perfect.
right.
Yeah,
Ted Williams Camp.
excellent.
But it's more of a historical thing. We're gonna talk about some of the very huge family plots that are there. And the cemetery originally was owned by the Precinct Church, which is the church that's Lakeville United Church of Christ now, the 2 churches that merged. And that was turned over to the town, I think in the 1980s, I wrote in the article, but, it's really, I'm a genealogy geek, so I mean, I love stopping by cemeteries and finding relatives that are buried there and seeing what their stones look like. And we have some really, really interesting stones because it's a long period of time. If we're just dealing with some of the historic stones in one area. And we have a man's stone and the man is not buried there.
Oh.
And we have the last, full-blooded indigenous male, Ben Simon's stone is
I read
there.
that in one of your posts.
Yeah, that's really nice. And plus you get to see the Veterans Cemetery too, which is really nice because it has areas for each of the branches of the service. So, they're really not that macabre. It's really more history that we see there. And there's always question about how people name their children. Usually the first son was named after the father and the first daughter was named after the mother. But if there were children who passed away, that name could be used 3 or 4 times until a living child. So it's very sad sometimes when you see the short lifespan of some of the children there. So it can be kind of sad, but it's also really beautiful, and it's nice that in this country we respect and have laws that protect our cemeteries.
So I would make a motion that we, move this on to step 2.
Second?
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, that one will be getting step 2 as well. That's going to Joan, right? Okay. Agenda item number 4, review and possible vote on recommendation to select board for resident at large housing seat. In our packet, we do have an email strand, including the interest from Evangelina Leah Fabian. She discusses her experience, in town boards and committees, the MBTA Advisory Board, Middleborough Housing Authority, Greater Taunton Regional Housing Consortium. She was on the select board for many years, and she is looking to join us as the housing seat for CPC. So, the select board was agreeable to let us review, the interested candidates. Unfortunately, we only have one, which is not unfortunate, but we have one, so that's good. And
I don't think there's any question.
No,
Yeah.
I don't
none
think
at all.
anybody
I
here should
think-
have
I'll
any
make a
question at all.
motion.
Yahoo,
If you wanna-
we need a
I'll
housing
make a
person
motion to
back.
recommend Leah
I'll
Fabian
second it.
as member at large.
all right, so I will send a memo over to Colleen. She said she'll try to get on the.
Did you vote?
Yeah,
Oh,
we need to
sorry.
vote.
Oh,
Motion second.
I was rushing it.
All in
Motion second,
favor?
all in favor.
aye.
I'll send the motion over to Colleen. She said she'll try to get it on, the select board meeting for October 21st. Agenda item number 5, review and possible vote on John Pond Park engineering plans invoice or to consider extending time frame for completion. Welcome back, Melissa.
Oh,
Hello again.
So I guess we've got an invoice. I haven't seen it, but Nancy
I left
has
it on the counter, but I have it, so I can pay
the
it.
$9,500?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So it's
So
even
that's just
9,500?
half?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
just what he's done so far.
Got it, okay.
But so no plans yet.
No plans yet.
So then we need to extend,
They did the perk test.
Okay, so do we want to make a motion for us to pay it? And then?
Yeah, do one thing at a time.
okay,
Okay.
Motion to have Nancy pay the bill.
There's a
second,
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pay the bill in $9,500. And then also, they needed an
From, do we need to
extension.
say specifically for Kathleen, from what fund?
So this is for the John Pond engineering project that was.
Yes.
approved.
yes,
This is
So
where it comes
it
from.
was, it came out of the, open space and recreation,
Yeah.
but then a small portion came from the undesignated or the
Okay,
reserve
yeah, I
fund.
don't need that detail, but this
Okay.
is coming from our funds, CPA funds. And this is for the perk test?
No, that's
No.
for the engineering.
The
plan.
the
Yeah, that's
engineering
okay.
Engineering
plans, yeah.
plan.
Okay,
That was part of it.
okay.
I mean, did Jamie give you a time frame when he thinks it's going to be?
February,
Yes,
Okay,
The
end of
so do
February.
you wanna extend it to April maybe, just in case?
Just in case.
Little wiggle room,
That sounds good.
and don't tell him.
unless he's watching.
Unfortunately, this is public.
Yeah.
that sounds good. Okay, I make a motion that we extend the time frame to April for the John Pond Park engineering plan.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so
All right,
it's been
thank you
extended to
all.
April. We
Thank
don't
you.
have any formal document, at this time to send an extension. I guess I can put it in an email form unless anybody has any other suggestions.
April 30th.
I'll
right?
just put it in an email form back to you
That's fine.
so that you can share it with the commission and,
Okay.
it's
April
April
30th.
2026.
April 30th, got it.
April 30th?
Yep,
Okay.
30 days has to pay people.
And our,
June and November.
so then it'll really be on our May. Or no, we'll put it on, so our, the
Well-
third Thursday in April, we'll meet and discuss.
Yeah, well, it should
Hopefully.
be in by then, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
it should be in by the end of February.
Right, yeah,
This
if you
is
get,
just
if you get the invoice prior,
Yeah.
send it over,
You
so we
should.
can,
All right,
all right.
all right, thank you
Awesome.
guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, agenda item number 6, review update regarding town meeting warrant article. So this one, is this why you're sticking around, Andrew? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, did you have any, if you have anything to add, please feel free to come.
No, but the appointment, that's definitely gonna be on Tuesday night.
Awesome,
Okay,
thank you.
I was just here if you had any question on the invoice or the contract or.
Okay. No, I think that's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
At
Yeah, I
least,
think
yeah, 'cause
so, yeah.
Nancy has the invoice, so that's good. So if you wanna talk about this one. So,
Might as
the
well.
last meeting I had missed, I know Kathleen, you were not here as well, I watched the meeting. What had come up and Sue and I had discussed adding just a little snippet of language to the existing CPC bylaw that says that this committee will review anyone interested in the resident at large seats.
And make a recommendation.
Right.
Correct, to the select board, because it's missing that and it's happened where we haven't seen the applications, so this way it would put it into the bylaw. The last meeting, the committee took a vote to ask Andrew for his, input on whether it can be done through a policy or if it should go through town meeting. I reached out to Andrew and he checked into it, he basically said you could do either way, but right now it's already on the warrant.
Yeah, I thought it was safer to just put it on the warrant.
yeah, I
Make
agree.
it, so it's not just like us, I
Get
mean,
legal.
eventually we'll all move on, right, so.
Right.
Makes it into the record for all time, I guess.
Okay, so it's
Until it
already on,
changes.
it's on the warrant, as long as this, I figured we can take another vote just to confirm that we wanna see it and support it,
And warrant review is next Tuesday, right?
Tuesday night, 6 o'clock. So,
yeah.
Do we need to be there for that or not?
it's not a very bad thing in case there's a question. I think I've gotten the background, like, I think I can answer all the questions.
I mean, it's like, what, a sentence?
Yeah, it's like I think it's like 5 words.
It's not, yeah, not even a full
And
sentence?
it's the practice, I think, of every other appointed select board kind of function, so I don't think there's any
Right.
doubt that that's what should happen.
And I mean, at first, we had even talked about, do we make it elected for those housing, for the resident at large seats? And, you know, we just discussed, no, let's just leave it as being appointed, because who wants to get the signatures and go through the whole election process? So, I mean, that was always something we could do as well, but at least this gives the committee the opportunity to review the application or the interested parties. So it is on town meeting, and if you wanna make anybody have any questions? No?
Nope.
So would we like to take a vote to support it at town meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, and just to recap, Bobby did say he supported Leah filling the open seat. No comments for this one. Sorry, I kept forgetting. And he did just say he deferred to the coalition for the first items, but.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you,
you.
Andrew. Have a good
Good
night.
night.
Agenda item number 7, review and possible vote on meeting minutes for September 18, 2025. Minutes are in the packet. Any questions, comments, edits?
Okay, so when you're talking about Shelley, it was just really funny. You just start off, you should say her name at least once and just go Shelley.
Oh.
So maybe in the first sentence, you can just say have Shelley such and such, right? Cause I don't see her full name anywhere.
Okay, yep, I see what you mean. Shelley Gearing,
yeah.
yep. Sorry.
No, that's all right. I'm like, oh.
I did them real
Yeah,
fast.
good catch.
Is that it?
Yep.
Anything else?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes as amended for September 18th, 2025.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Agenda item number 8. We have old business. Any status updates? I don't think we have anything except for the cupola. still
Cupola
looks-
is the only project, and it's still at the workshop. He's rebuilding all the shutters and everything. They take a long time.
Okay. All right, any photos of ongoing completed projects? No, not at this time. No, okay. If anybody comes across any, let us know, share them, we'll get them on the next meeting. Review and possible vote on meeting schedule dates for 2026 in your packet. We have the 3rd Thursday outlined for the upcoming 2026 year.
Question?
Yes.
Public meeting.
Oh, we wanna designate the date, huh?
I would just wonder, I mean, maybe we can use one of the ones we already have. Last year we did February, right?
Yeah.
Right. Do we wanna keep it at February?
I'm good with that.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I
'Cause
just,
we're-
but maybe we can just make a notation that would be for the public
So
meeting.
keep in mind, so the step 2s will close in January, so we'll be reviewing that in January. Hopefully we only need the 1 meeting for the step 2s, maybe 2. I know sometimes we give it 2 meetings. But so, other than that,
Is that the 3rd? Oh, that's the 2nd. So we'd be reviewing on January 15th.
yeah.
Well, we can also, if we're having a public meeting, last time we had an agenda also, the things
Right,
that we
at
had
the
to
end.
finish up,
Yep.
so.
Right.
But just, yeah, I just wanted to say, keep in mind, you know,
Same time.
it might have other things, but that should be fine. We don't usually have long meetings. This is one of the longer ones. All right, so public hearing, I will add that as a notation to the schedule, and I'll post this on the website if everybody is in agreement with these meeting dates. The 3rd Thursday through the year 2026.
And maybe in January, we can talk about publicity or what we wanna do to get it out there, cause we had some people last time and we had a good suggestion about the water sports and stuff last,
Yeah.
so.
All right, you wanna make that motion to, accept these dates and make that
I
edit?
make
So
a motion
moved.
to accept the dates as amended with the public hearing
I'll
for
second it.
February 19th, 2026.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, Susan, I
That's
interrupt
okay.
you. Sorry.
You go right ahead.
I'm hungry.
Agenda item number 10. Discuss and possible vote regarding joint meeting with planning board for December 11th or January 8th. So planning board has, discussed, so we have our goals spreadsheet, so we actually had a chance to bring that up last meeting. And one of the items was, we actually wanna meet with Conservation Commission as well, but we wanted to meet with CPC. And wanted to see if either the December 11 or January 8th dates work for this
And why are we doing this?
committee.
Why are we meeting with the planning board?
I think it's just to sort of go over the goals and see if there's any,
We were gonna talk, weren't we gonna talk about, the extending the housing that has restrictions on it for.
oh, the
low income.
subsidized housing
And
inventory.
we wanted
Okay.
to talk to them about
Okay,
why that's not always ongoing forever, and how they can work.
Well, so
in-
40Bs go through ZBA though,
Yeah.
but,
There are some that are coming out of this. and we-
correct, but so the other thing is, we are still, so that's things we can
Yeah,
talk about. We
that's
can
in the
talk about a
housing too,
planner, you know, cause we're still working on getting the planner in here and we actually did just get, certified compliance with 2-year safe harbor from 40B, so the town can actually say no for 2 years for any incoming 40B projects because of the hospital project. If that doesn't move forward though, then we're back to non-compliance and projects can continue to come in. Is it not something that this committee is interested in? Are you interested? Are you not? Do you wanna do a joint meeting with planning board? I can tell them no.
Through the chair, I think it's an excellent idea. I think it's also very timely. And it's great that by that time, we will hopefully have Leah Fabian in place. So I think it will only strengthen the housing component of the CPA.
Right, cause that should be a common goal, is that housing trust.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
CPC.
Yep.
Are these
And we have not
Thursdays?
had representation.
I think like January 8th is the week before our meeting, so we'd be meeting with planning board, right?
Right, so it would be on a planning board Thursday instead of a CPC Thursday, so we'd have
We'd
a
have
meeting on
two
the 8th and
meetings.
the 15th.
I'd rather do January than December.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
okay, so that's what, let me see, I think Bobby had said that too.
And you're gonna post these too,
He
right?
supported the schedule and he supports the the joint meeting, preference would be January 8th.
Yeah, I agree,
Okay,
after
so-
the holidays.
So
January
January 8th is the second Thursday in January. Is that, do you have a conflict with,
No, I have the first Thursday every month.
oh, okay.
You're gonna be a
The
busy
first and
woman.
third.
Oh, yeah, so you're gonna have a few.
Missing spin every Friday.
Yep.
So,
All right, so,
Is that 6:30 or 7?
6:30. Yep.
If we put at the beginning of the agenda,
Absolutely.
I have another meeting that night, but I couldn't go in late, so.
I will let Kathy know. So if we have any public hearings that have to be scheduled, I'll ask her to put those for 7 o'clock and we'll have CPC at 6:30.
I'm at this
Okay.
stage. I've reached that point in my life.
So I make a motion to, have a joint meeting with the planning board on January 8th, 2026 at 6:30.
I second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We will be meeting with planning board January 8th at 6:30. It should be at the police station. I know there was one weird conflict recently, but
We need that
typically
much
do
room.
here.
We
Yeah.
need this much room.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be able to squeeze a little, fit the one more
Yeah.
member here and, 5 here, we'll figure it out.
That's where you usually meet.
Here, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right.
All right, our next meeting date is November 20th at 6:30 PM at the police station. I don't have anything at this time, except for a set of minutes for this meeting that Sue will have. Do we want to forego this meeting, or is there a reason, do we need to meet?
We have lag time before we're looking at step 2 for,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we
Right.
could,
We do, we could forego it.
But what about, oh, I guess it doesn't matter, Leah, if
Nothing.
Leah gets appointed.
We'll just let her know the next,
Well, yeah,
I sent
Yeah.
out the email, I just,
Yeah.
whoever's new, I add to that email.
yeah, we can just wait till December, yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, so we'll
Great.
forego,
Forego
the
November.
November 20th, so that'll push us out to December 18th. And I'm assuming something will come up by then. If not, I guess we can talk about, I mean, especially with the holidays, if people are busy, maybe it's kind of nice to have a break if we don't have anything going on until the step 2 comes in January.
Yeah,
If you do have anything for the agenda that we need to have done, let me know, but we'll consider foregoing December, we definitely have January. And maybe that makes up for the month of January where we have a couple meetings.
okay,
Yeah, for the holidays, that's nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, nothing pressing, so.
All right, any
Sounds
other
good.
business?
Mhm.
All right,
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
motion in a second,
Aye.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at
8:02.
Go home and sit by the